if Al Gore was the president, do you think 9/11 would happen?
Yeah, because we didn't suddenly. So there's a big fiction surrounding Islam and why they hate us, right? There's this idea that it was our historical interventions as America specifically that created these conditions that caused them to grow to hate us and all that stuff. And they don't go back to the fact that, no, we've always been at war with Islam and going back to, 13th, 14th centuries, early times in America, the Barbary pirates, the Battle of Tripoli. I mean, all of those sort of things were those wars against that tension that right now I think is growing again. We've always been at war there. So them hating us and them committing a 9/11 or some kind of atrocity or some kind of major terrorist act was in the cards at some point.
So you give zero chance 9/11 was an inside job?
I don't. I think it was more complicated than what the conspiracy theorists are saying. Like, I believe that there are some things that definitely look like they need to be questioned. Mm-hmm. I've gone down that rabbit hole a little bit. I'm not. I am not opposed to identifying the monkey business there, and there are better people on the show, better people to have on the show than me to go down those paths.
You see, how I view 9/11 is the same how I view the Bible. There are people that like 90% of the Bible, but 10% they don't like. They're like, okay, so I'm going to keep a blind eye on that part of the Bible, but yeah. I'm a Christian.
Right.
So the same thing is 9/11. I believe that that's not an inside job, but when you see building 7, building some, and you're like, yeah, but even if this small part does not align, it means something.
Yeah.
That can't be true.
No, and you and I are probably very similar. And I've seen so many things that I thought were, okay, let's take the moon landing for a moment. Not to get too wild.
That was the next question.
Oh, that's funny. The moon landing as a conspiracy. So people will take evidence of them filming certain things, on sound stages and all that stuff, which I believe is credible. Some of that stuff looks like they faked certain aspects. But how much of that is they did the act, they landed on the moon, they faked certain aspects for marketing purposes, never thought it could ever be analyzed beyond that, but they did it to make it this great thing for our nation, and they wanted to have better footage, and they wanted to have, how much of it is just as simple as that, as them, getting, what's the filmmaker?
Kubrick?
Yeah, getting Stanley Kubrick to help them, build some better footage.
So I have mixed feelings.
And I've got all kinds of buddies that are so into some of this stuff, and some of them are into. There's not a conspiracy theory that they are unwilling to believe.
So I have mixed feelings. So if that was a fake one, right? Mm-hmm. That the USSR would definitely know about it. They would expose, there's no chance America went to the moon, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't say a thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I take a look at this photo, there is no chance this piece of crap got out of our planet and landed on the moon, and then got back to the Earth.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
What is that?
There's all kinds of things that look at that and you would say But I think there's a reason why I am not invested in too many of those, is because the worst conspiracies that are affecting us the most harmfully are right out there in the open. There's that they're hardly conspiracies because they're right in front of our effing faces.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff I concentrate on, and I consider some of those things sport. How some dudes are so into it. Eddie Bravo, who's a classmate of mine. coming up through jiu-jitsu. Love the guy. And that dude is one of the most amazing inventors of jiu-jitsu technique too. And he was so into, and still is, right? And I think he's also a flat earther and, all of that stuff. I mean,
Show me the photo.
He is into it, right? And it is like a sport to him. It's like jiu-jitsu to him. I mean, he is all in at every aspect of these sort of things. I'm not that guy. Some of them have credibility. Some of them I can entertain. Some of them I go, oh, okay, I'll see where you come. Some of them it certainly does not wreck my faith in Christ. Very few of them actually contradict, or even including. I mean, flat Earth, there's Bible verses that suggest otherwise, like we are a sphere. There's other things that don't seem to fall in line with the biblical narrative, but like a lot of people who are swallowing the flat Earth theory stuff think that it tells you that the Bible is actually true because of and they'll get into it. Sorry, guys. We got war that we're facing down, and I am more concerned about that than I am flat Earth. And when God comes back, Jesus, comes back, I'll ask him.
What's crazy? So when you went to the moon, the USSR told me, oh, okay, so they went to the moon first. We're not gonna pursue that mission. Like, why?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that can bankrupt a nation, pursuing these things, right? Tremendous amount of, resources and energy and time and all of that. That was pretty incredible undertaking just economically. I think we can't discount that. But yeah, I don't know. The only weird thing is the fact that we just lost all the calculations and lost some of the technology because it's like it's just disappeared somehow.
And there were multiple missions to the moon, not only one mission. Mm-hmm. And Indians and Chinese are going to the moon like nowadays. Yeah. No one gives a shit about it at all. Yeah. Oh, they're going to the moon. Like, isn't it a big thing?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Maybe they're doing some stuff over there.
I don't know.
Building the bases. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there's some, moon creatures that they don't want us to know about.
Yeah.